Yo, yo, yo. What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Neptunes Sunday. It's your boy V Moss here. Special guest episode. Got my man Patrick Pryor, one half of music duo Tokyo Ave. Patrick, what's good, bro?
What's going on, man? I'm so happy to be on the podcast, man. I love anything that's Neptunes related, so this should be a treat.
For sure, man. Like it's been this is definitely a labor of love, you know? Like it's definitely cool to have people on here, whether it's me and my partner Vogue, shout out to Vogue, or any of the guests that we've had on so far, just chopping it up. And it's always great when somebody puts me onto a fact or a song or vice versa that that I didn't know. So it's really cool. So
Yeah.
first off, before we get into the Neptunes, introduce yourself, talk to the people, tell them who you are and what you got going on.
My name is Patrick Pryor. I am a music producer that is based, born and raised in Chicago. Now I'm out in California in the Bay. One half of production duo Tokyo Ave. Man, we've been doing Tokyo Ave for a very long time, which is crazy because how we got together. Like we started in the Star Trek form when we were like super young. Like I think Khan was 13, I was 17, and he came to me one day and was like, yo, I make beats. I see that you be posting beats. I think we should kind of do beats together. And if you can teach me a couple things, that'll be cool. And we've been rocking together ever since. Like if this was a real job, I think we could probably retire. so yeah. So we were babies from the Star Trek form, which at that time had Ryan Lasley was in there, Tyler the creator was in there when he was very young, maybe 13, 14 as well. Drake was in there as Aubrey Graham.
That's
A lot of people were in that form as fans. MIA, she was in there. Like, yeah, it was a really fun time. But just been producing for a lot of up and coming guys. I did solo stuff. I've done stuff, ghost production for people like Kanye. I've worked with Good Music. I've worked with Universal. I've been around the block, but now it's all about Tokyo Ave and pretty much getting our sound out there. And I know it's a hard task, but I want people to look at us like how people look at the Neptunes when it comes
that's
to
real.
like production duos. So yeah.
That's real. So describe for the people like that haven't listened, if you could briefly describe or kind of give somebody a short pitch of what Tokyo Ave music is sounding like, what they're going to expect to hear when they check you guys out.
2036, the year, like we are so, I feel like we're so far ahead of what we're doing, but at the same time we've taken every influence that we've had in our lives and kind of mashed them together. Like of course most producers know that like Pharrell and Chad are the teachers of this. Like there's no, like, to me, when you think of like top notch production history, in my opinion, they're number one. But there's also people like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis that we borrow from. A lot of the older guys that we kind of grew up listening to on purpose. What I mean by that is like the music that we heard when like our parents or the elders were cleaning the house and stuff
Right.
like that. And when we were young, we kind of like, man, we don't want to hear that. Like
Right.
we want to hear what we want to hear. But now that we're older, we kind of appreciate it. And that's the thing about me when I'm always like studying music. I always want to know why our elders or the people before us love the music that they listen to. So pretty much, like I said, Timberland, the Neptunes, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, like all of those guys just mixed up and just trying to, like, I'm always thinking like future. Like for example, like I take big inspiration lately. Like I play this video game called Cyberpunk 2077,
Okay.
and just looking at like the surroundings, the buildings, the cars and everything. Like I want to make music for that because I hope it will be fortunate that I'll be still alive at 2077. But
Right.
I wonder what music will sound like in the future. And that's the type of stuff that we're trying to make. I'm trying to stay out the box and always incorporating bridges in the stuff that we do, because that was something that we learned from the Neptunes, which I feel
Yeah.
like is a lost art nowadays. Everything's the 8-bar loop. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I checked out some of well, obviously, first of all, got to talk about the Doja Cat remix that got a lot of
Oh
love a couple
man,
weeks
yeah,
ago. I'm
yeah.
not even a big like my girl listens to Doja Cat enough that I hear and recognize some of the songs.
Yeah.
But y'all's remix version was dope, and I saw Questlove retweeted, which
Yeah.
was dope too.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy about that remix is that that was originally for someone else, and when when you're producing for people, a lot of times people don't see it when you present it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, Pharrell
did a
talks about that all
remix.
the time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So like I'm like, like sending out ideas and stuff and sent it to someone. They were like, oh, I don't know about that one. I'm like, all right, okay. So during our spare time, like the kind of, I guess, like a brain exercise, like we just do remixes just off the love and strength and try to remix stuff that hasn't been remixed yet. And I just happened to stumble across, a studio acapella of that. Mind you, I've never heard the record, which sounds crazy. I never heard the original record before. Like I didn't know what the original record was until after we finished it. And that's when I saw it was the TikTok challenge, the
that's
silhouette.
crazy.
Yeah. So like
That's crazy.
so that was kind of dope. It's crazy because, like I said, no disrespect to Doja Cat, but I wasn't really checking for music like that just because I just wasn't. But
Right.
I am a fan now because we did that remix. Just to be able to take something that sounds completely different than the original, and people love it. That's probably the highest honor that me and Khan could get, and especially from someone like Questlove, who's a goat. you
He's one of
know
the Godfathers.
yeah, yeah,
He's
like he's
definitely
a
one of the
goat.
Godfathers.
And he understood like where we were going with that. A lot of times, like with these remixes, like I kind of want to mix the old with the new. To the people that don't know, and a lot of the younger producers that follow me and kind of want to know what Tokyo Ave do, like obviously the Jodeci Come and Talk to Me remix was very popular back in the days, like when I was young, and I was listening to it over and over again. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can put Doja Cat over something like that. Let me replay that. And Khan did the drums and went crazy. And next thing you know, yeah, it's getting retweeted like crazy. I'm just like, wow, like this is why we do remixes. I don't, low key, I don't like to call them remixes. I like to call it like alternate universe music. Like maybe
That's
this
real.
this would be hot
On
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 another
some Marvel
galaxy.
shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Yeah, that's
so
real.
yeah.
And a couple tracks that I like that I listened to. Smoke and Chill was dope. I think that's the
Mm,
one that has the Tupac flip.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I'm not even really a big Tupac fan, but I
yeah.
appreciate his music, and obviously that's How Do You Want is one of the
Oh, of
hits.
course, yeah, for sure.
And I like I think it was Neon Lights had a little bop to it that I liked.
Yeah,
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 man.
yeah, yeah. Neon lights. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
yeah, man, I really appreciate that, man. Like, when we do our albums, like, we've put out 3 albums within the span of 10 years. So, like, every album that we do, I want to sound like, I want to be different on everyone. Like,
Yep.
I still think, like, and I think this is with like every artist or whatever. Like, there's still songs that I think that we did are so great that I'm still trying to, like, I guess, like, be like, I want something better than that. Like, for me, we have a record on our second album called Hot Stuff, which is 100% influenced by the Neptunes,
Hmm.
100% produced by it was inspired by Pharrell. Like when I did my singing part, like I literally was trying to channel like Pharrell at that, and that I think that's probably one of our most popular songs. But it's like it's always a process when making these albums because yeah, I definitely want all this stuff to sound different. And going to the Smoke and Chill record, a lot of times when I flip older stuff, my youngest son wants to be a producer. So a lot of times this is kind of like homework for him. So he like, oh
That's dope.
damn, what did my dad flip? Oh, let me go back and listen to the original to see what he was listening to like during that time. So yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
man.
think that's something that we did too at our age, right? Like
Yeah.
when we really had that resurgence of the soul with Ye and Just Blaze and Bink and
Mm-hmm.
those guys, like really going. I think there was a track on whatever. I don't know if I had the real version or some crazy bootleg version of the I'm Good mixtape.
Uh-huh.
And there was a Blueprint compilation track on there where like they ran through the samples that Ye used on
Mm-hmm.
the Blueprint and then played the song after. And my mind was just like blown. I'm just like, this is absolutely insane that I'm going back and listening to this Harold Melvin and the Blue Note song that
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mom and grandparents probably played. And then I'm just like, this is one of my favorite Jay-Z songs ever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
crazy. So getting into this Neptunes conversation, I think definitely people like you, people like me, you talked about Tyler, we are in a really cool, unique time period where the children of Pharrell and the
Mm,
Neptunes, Chad, but also the children of Ye and the children of Dre and whoever.
Mhm.
Like they're coming in to make music while these guys are still actually active, which is really cool. I think that's
Crazy.
just part of the, the gift of the technology of and in the world that we live in is not as it's so much easier to make music. There's not this ageism of once you are, especially in hip hop, like
Yeah.
once you get to be a certain age, no one really wants to hear from you anymore. Like the fact that we're at a point where the people that Chad and Pete influenced are now have gone, especially Tyler. And I also think of Uzi in that way,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
from going from that fan to, to a mentee to a peer is crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And it's really dope to see. I think that's a really, really cool, unique part about where we are in music right now, especially in hip hop. That's
Yeah.
really dope. So
100%. And I hate to cut you off, but like the Tyler thing is like it's so crazy and so satisfying seeing because
it's
I was
inspirational.
there. Yeah, I was there when he was literally begging people to listen to his beats, and he was talking about Odd Future, and only a few people were giving his stuff a chance at that time. Like, and it's crazy, even with Drake, imagine Drake happened to come into the forum and beg people to listen to his music, or a
Right.
person like Ryan Leslie. Hey man, I'm a producer from Harvard and I make beats, and seeing people being like, yo, shut up, that's trash. Like, that's crazy to me. But seeing Tyler go from what he is now to what he was, and just seeing how dedicated he was to the craft and learning is such a testament to who and what he will become in this music industry. Will go down as one of the goats. Will go down. He's like low key. He's going to be like on the path of someone like a Quincy Jones,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So yeah, like really dope to see.
I admittedly was late on the Tyler train, but part of it is from, my co-creator of the show, Vogue, is a huge Tyler fan. So I've like caught up on some stuff. I really, really started paying attention. I guess Flower Boy. There was like some tracks on Flower Boy that I really love. But just last month being in here, so I'm
Mhm.
I'm from Virginia, which is a huge part of this whole podcast thing and love I
Yeah.
have for P and them. But I'm in DC right now. There's a lot going on. But I was here
Mhm.
for something in the water. I actually didn't make it to the third day because 3 days at a festival is too much.
Too
Like,
much. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but I watched
Mhm.
Tyler's performance at home, and just one, the stage presence, the actual stage setup, design, the way that he really takes like the details in it was amazing to me. He put on a great show. He's a certified rock star. Even that clip that came up last week of him at Wireless and how he had the
Mhm.
crowd rocking, like the kid is like he is and I can't say kid because he's like really a couple of years younger than me, but he's like
Yeah.
he's amazing. But the other thing is seeing them do cash in cash out live,
Oh man.
put that song in a different space,
Yeah.
like a different, like a really made it a bigger record when you see the performance in the way that Tyler was like getting the crowd hype, and then they dropped it. Obviously it's a big deal to have P and 21 come out, like,
Yeah.
but it was dope.
Man, that I was so mad I couldn't make it to something in the water, man. I knew that the Clips was going to reunite. They were going to originally do that last year, but due to COVID, obviously something
Right.
in the water didn't happen. But I was so hyped, and yeah, I was like, I can't make it. I was so upset. But it's good to see those guys back, and yeah, that Tyler performance was wild. Yeah, man.
So
So
being from Chicago, tell me like what are the first couple songs that really made you pay attention or that you remember being obviously or like connecting the dots that okay, this music that I'm hearing is coming from the Neptunes and really becoming a fan of them.
okay, so it's funny and it's so crazy because I can remember this like it was yesterday. Like I think maybe a sophomore in high school, and this was around the time when they had a channel like Video Music Box, the box, where
Mm-hmm.
people would call in and stuff like that. And I remember my mom trying to wake me up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, get up. I'm like, go to school. I'm like, okay. So I turned on the TV, and obviously it's on the box. And I remember hearing this song with this like crazy drum pattern, and it was Khalees Get Along With You. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, what the hell is this? And mind you, at this point, like I'm just starting out as a producer. All my beats at the time sounded like Manny Fresh. Like I
Got you.
wanted to be like, like that.
Yeah.
And when I heard that record, I was just like, yo, what it sounds so crazy. And then I started seeing like this mysterious man in all these videos. I'm like, who's this guy with this bushy mustache and this wife beater? Like, who is this guy? And luckily for us, this like we caught the internet like kind of when it was like really, really buzzing, looked up, Babyface, there she goes. And then of course it
Mm-hmm.
had him credited as Pharrell. And then that took me to the NERD forum. But yeah, it was Khalees Get Along With You when I knew like, yo, I don't know who produced this, but this is crazy. And I need to figure out who the hell. Maybe I need to go to it wasn't Google back then, it was Ask
Right.
Jeeves.
Right.
Yeah, Ask Jeeves, yo, who is this? And I found the Neptunes and I've been a fan ever since that day.
Yeah, man. I talk about my god brother DJ RNS from Richmond, who's probably so he's 6 years older than me,
Mhm.
and his little brother and I are the same age. But we just used to be just completely enamored with him DJing in the basement and just looking at the crates of records and just hearing it
Mhm.
and being close to it, and just his involvement in the music, but also his fandom of them too is kind of what sparked our fandom. And so like I remember hearing Super Thug, and I do remember hearing Get Along With You, and I, starting to see him in videos like Shake Your Ass, but it wasn't really until maybe like 2002, three, where I was really like, I found the discography list where I'm gonna whoever made this, whoever spent the time to put this list together, and now I'm actually gonna sit here on the weekends because I have nothing else to do and go find all these songs and
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
and just getting familiar with the stuff that we missed, right? Like, because being in that age range where you're like paying attention to stuff, but you don't really know like we know now, right? Like, you don't have, it's not like you said, kids can't go Google it like we could have, like, oh, and
Right.
it's not like, okay, cool, the internet machine that we have now where that Pharrell's got a new song come out because they're promoting it, and it's
Right,
not
right.
even an album. Like, this is like that, like the Calvin Harris thing that came out yesterday. Like, that's a
Yeah,
big deal that
yeah.
they talked about for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
not even a question of, did Pharrell do this? It's like, if he's got an album cut on an album that's coming out this year, you know it.
You know it, yeah, yeah, 100%, yeah. And that's kind of a, like I said, lost art now. Like when we were younger, there were, the booklet and the CDs that
Yeah.
told you, the
Yep.
credits of everything. And luckily for us, like the guys that really know, like we know, like, okay, yeah, that's Neptunes. Like we
Right.
study this. Well, it's kind of hard to tell now, and I'm pretty sure we'll get into that later with the newer stuff that the Neptunes are doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, like it's, I miss those days of just being able to open up a book and being like, oh, okay, this person did that or did that. Because like you said, the guys and girls of this generation are not going to go on Google and be like, yo, who did this?
Right. If you haven't already done a good job of letting me know as a producer now, like everyone, like we're in the age where everyone's a brand and everyone's got to make sure that they're doing their job to promote the projects and stuff that they got going on. Because if closed mouths don't get fed, for lack of a
Correct.
better term. Like,
Yeah.
so if you're not hyping, Tyler had a good quote in an interview a couple of weeks ago where he was like, "You posted your music one time and now that's it." Like, that you got to
Yeah.
have this machine of, you gonna, even if you're posting the same thing a bunch of times at least, but you got to do a TikTok and you got to do, what's the reels and all of that. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy that we're just in a space where I think that's the good part of it, is that it's easier for you to know, and it's not like that much work for us to find their work. But I think that also, which is a bigger picture conversation in music in general, is like there's so much that kind of dilutes it, right? Like, it's like everyone's releasing something every week. Like, I always talk about the Griselda Boys all the time because I really love that Benny the Butcher Burden of Proof album.
Oh
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
like, I really can't name that. I mean, the Conway album before that came out, really like close before that, is dope too. But like, they put out so much music as a collective, I just can't keep up with it, right? It's not that I don't like it or not that I don't want to try. Like, it's just there's so much music, and it's like, bro, how am I supposed to keep up with all of this?
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Tell me a song, a Neptune song, Pharrell song that you think is underappreciated, or like that
Oh
you think
wow.
people have never heard.
Um, well, I guess for the first one that probably never heard is probably Arsenic featuring Lara, the Gotta Drive, which is on the Taxi soundtrack. Two French rappers featuring Lara, which for the longest I thought was Natasha Ramos, but I guess it was
Hmm.
the actual person. But I think that beat is so incredible. Not to say that those guys didn't do what they did, but I don't understand French, so it's kind of hard to.
That's real.
But I love the hook and I love the beat to it. I think that is an unappreciated Neptunes gem. As far as stuff that people have heard, I guess I had to say like records like Ti Freak though.
Hmm.
One I think is unappreciated. Can I Say Goodbye to Love is one. Chester French with Common, I think it's called What a World.
Yep.
Um
People really sleep on that Common album that they did.
oh
Where,
yeah, yeah, Universal Mind Control. Yeah, like
yeah,
that. Yeah, that
man.
was that was really dope for the time that it was created. I love TLC in Your Arms Tonight. I
Hmm.
think that was a underrated gem. Mayor Hawthorne's Wine Glass Woman,
That's dope.
which is crazy because to me, out of, and I know that probably dropped maybe 2016, 2017, if I can remember, but that was one of the last records that really felt like the Neptunes to me, if that makes any sense. Like the
Yeah.
the way that it sound, like it was it sounded like a Neptunes record, unlike what you might hear from P and Chad today. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
like those.
the other Mayor Hawthorne joint. What's the name? The Stars Are Ours.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
sounds like is a leftover from Fly or Die.
Man. Mm,
I love that joint.
yeah, yeah. Also, another record, all that, and it never came out, and I wish it did. One of their recent joints, G Easy Bounce That with Pharrell. He played it on Instagram Live, and I know there's probably clips of it floating around on YouTube and things like that. But that beat is incredible, and I hope that it sees the light of day. But you know what the Neptunes like, they
Yeah,
have
man.
songs, like yeah, you never know. They might not come out to 2024, but yeah,
Right.
those are some of the records that I think are unappreciated. Or I could go into a list like a bag of like unreleased stuff, and wow, always liked the original version of Feel It with Benny Man and Joe.
Mm.
Like yeah, it's a lot of stuff, man. Like there's a
Hmm.
there's a lot of unreleased gems that the Neptunes have done that never saw the light of day that I love. Usher,
Yeah,
Sweet Lies, Certified,
yeah, man. I talk to
Wifey.
people about that. Wifey is my joint,
Yeah. Oh
man.
my God.
Wifey and
Yeah.
Don't Take It Personal are
Yeah.
my
Don't take
joints.
it personal. I'm so mad that that project never
Yeah,
saw the light of day.
man.
But yeah, man, I love Wifey and Certified and
And
Sweet Lies. And
specifically with somebody like Usher, who has since those records got made, put out other collaborations with them that are like
yeah,
okay, but not as good as
they're
those. And you're
mid.
like,
They're
bro,
mid.
like you know, what I mean?
They're
It's like,
mid. Yeah.
why do we have to save these and not like what was the conversation there, man? Like,
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, man, but yeah, like I loved all the unreleased stuff that they did for Usher during that time period, man. It was incredible. And luckily the real fans, we got it in the the archive. We got it
yeah,
in the
got
vault.
it.
So
Yeah, it's in the
yeah,
tuck for sure,
yeah,
for sure, man.
yeah, for sure.
So we initially started this conversation or started this process of getting you on the show. You posted the thread about songs that we wish had gone to other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
go ahead, kick it off. What you got?
Um,
I got a couple.
I got
We're
a
gonna talk about
couple.
some things, but go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, I got a couple. I can't remember them all because I be smoking on that jazz cabbage sometimes. So sometimes I forget. But of course, the one that I mentioned on Twitter, Don the Dutch, I always thought would have been best for Snoop. It feels like California to me. It feels summertime, like just smooth. Not to
Yep.
take anything away from Bow Wow, but yeah, that should have went to Snoop.
Yeah, man.
Another.
That song in particular was one when I did an episode with a group of my friends, and I was like, we're going around playing songs that we thought were underrated. That
Yeah.
my boy played that, and like some other boys had never heard that before. The part where the beginning part of the beat changes, and then you get the little smooth
Yeah.
like, and it blew them.
Those
I watched
chords are
their
crazy.
eyes, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
The
them
Donna
chords are
Dutch
crazy.
is definitely one of their best, and like it's just it is what it is, Joe.
Oh, to
Sometimes
me, it's a top 10
songs,
Neptune beat. It's
yeah,
a top 10 for
sometimes
me.
you got songs that go to people, and it's like, yeah, obviously we want that to go to Snoop, but like Bow Wow got it, and Bow
Yeah,
Wow did what Bow Wow needed to do on it.
yeah,
It's and if you're not gonna listen to it because it's a Bow Wow song, well, that's your loss.
yeah. It's
Like,
your loss, but I still like it. I think it's a incredible beat. Uncle Snoop would have did something crazy to it, but we got what we got, and that's
Yeah,
cool.
man.
Another record I always heard Janet Jackson on Boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm pretty sure like when they were making that, I knew that was around the time when they were trying to work with Mike and
Yep.
things like that during the Justified era or whatever. But
Yep.
always heard her on that. Always heard Nelly on Edibles. That was on the Bush album with Snoop. It was Snoop
Yep.
album. Yeah.
Yep.
So like it's a couple. I'll have to list them. I'll probably do it on Twitter. I was trying to write some last night, but I couldn't really think of none. But yeah, for sure. Like, but yeah, Down the Dutch, man. I might have to just take a Snoop acapella and just put something
That's
over here
real.
so I can have it. Yeah. But
That's
yeah.
real,
That was
man.
that was a dope song. So
Like it's there's conversations that have just obviously when P like kind of resurfaced and was doing a bunch of interviews or even stuff that he's talked about years ago that's just
mhm.
coming up again. Like talked about Prince going Prince wanting to be on fronting, like
Oh yeah,
Pharrell
yeah, yeah,
wanting
yeah.
Prince to be on fronting, which would have been crazy. You
Oh,
know, the
that would have been
conversation
crazy.
about, Mike Jackson, they wanted Mike Jackson on the JT tracks that like
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, legendary records that would have been even more legendary if they had gone to the bigger legendary artists, which is crazy to
Yeah.
think. When you think about how big Rock Your Body is, right? Like you think about how big Frontin' is, and then you just talk about adding Michael Jackson and Prince to
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
like,
Just crazy. But then there's records that they've done that, someone had first and then like it
right.
just, so for example, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but I know that Ray J's Out the Ghetto was originally for Justin Timberlake, which if you listen
Mm,
to it, Ray J is trying to and do his best
yeah,
his Justin shit. But obviously, if you listen to it, like that clearly is not a record for Justin Timberlake for him to be singing about being out the ghetto.
no question.
But yeah, and yeah, like there's man, I wish I still had it. I had 3 songs off of Fly Die, but they were digital. They started
Mm,
working on, and shout out to the homie Show Me, who's a like
yeah.
fucking Virginian legend, my brother.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
he was one of the guys that really kept me close to with what the Neptunes were doing, because obviously he was doing a lot of work for them and things like that. So I got to hear a lot of things I wasn't supposed to hear, but yeah, like a digital Fly Die. I remember
Sheesh.
hearing the way she danced, and She Wants to Move, the original versions, and I wish that Pharrell just untucked the hot, just open the
That's
vault.
crazy.
Yeah, just open the vault one day and just let us just raid what we want. So yeah.
That's like the one thing that as super fans like us that can be frustrating with our guy, the GOAT,
Yeah.
Pharrell, is that he's so humble. He doesn't like go on the backtrack, and like we just want him to play all like I talk about this all the time when I talk about something in the water. Like
Mhm.
I just am expecting, because of who I am and how big of a fan I am, I'm expecting the most craziest things to happen. I'm expecting Kendrick to come out. I'm
Oh
expecting Jay-Z
man.
to come out. I'm
Oh man,
expecting
that would
Russell.
have
I'm
been
expecting
lovely.
all these people to show up, and it didn't happen. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't dope, because it was. It's
Right,
just that I
right.
just in my mind know the potential, and also because I like work in marketing and events, so like I
Yeah.
understand the just the impact of when you do something that makes people go crazy. Like it's dope, but
Mhm.
but yeah, man, like we just want him to show off like just show off one time, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure, and he's earned every right to do that. Like
yeah,
there he's one of the, well, not he. I gotta say both, because a lot
right,
of people keep forgetting Chad, and Chad is such a big part of what's being done. But um,
100%.
they, like the resurgence has been incredible, and you got to look at the guys that were out during the time when they were really like booming, the Just Blaze. Like you don't really
Mm-hmm.
hear too much from him. You don't really, Timbaland's kind of shifted to like Twitch and kind of helping the younger generation. You
Yep.
don't really hear any, oh damn, that was produced by Timbo, like
Right.
how we used to when we were listening to the radio or anything like that. But now,
Yep.
like, and luckily, P has kept the torch kind of lit while Chad was kind of, just chilling.
Right.
But the resurgence from the Neptunes have been completely incredible to watch. You got to think, these guys are close to 50 now.
Yeah.
You know,
Next year will be
yeah,
next
next year,
year.
yeah,
P will be 50.
yeah. So it's like we've been following these guys. I've been a Neptunes fan since '01. So 21 years I've been watching these guys from Virginia that influenced a guy from Chicago, like everything that they were doing. Like I, at one point, you would have thought I was from Virginia. How much I was, looking up to those guys and stuff. And luckily, I was able to, go out there and man, I mean, it's crazy out in Virginia. Like just
Yeah,
outside
man.
of Virginia Beach, like going to Richmond and Norfolk and
Yeah.
being
So
up there with
that's where I'm from. I'm from Richmond.
Oh man, that's hey man, love to Richmond. It's been a while since I've been there. Shout out to the one of the homies, Nicholas F.
Yep.
And Radio B and all those guys.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's Virginia is something different. I was not expecting that when I first visit when I went there a long
Do you
time ago.
know Chance Fisher?
Yes, that's the homie. Yeah, yeah.
That's like my little bro. Like
Wow. Wow, yeah.
yo, that's wild. If you know
Yeah,
Chance
yeah,
Fisher,
yeah, I do. Yeah,
like that
yeah.
literally is my little brother. Like we went to high school together.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I actually helped him like when he first started rapping. I was like his pseudo manager slash entourage person, like
Yeah, yeah,
helping
that's
them
the
pass out CDs and stuff. That's my little bro, man. I love
Yeah,
that
that's the
kid.
guy. I know him and Khan have a better relationship than I do with him, but like
Got you.
anytime we've talked, like he's always been like good people and shit. Like really, really good, really, really dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that's
man.
crazy. Yeah, Chance Fisher. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
He
small
is a
world.
character, man. That's my bro. And
Small
now
world.
that I realize, like that's wild. I absolutely am 100% not even realizing that Chance Fisher got songs with Conrizal. I didn't even
Yeah,
put two and two
yeah, yeah,
together,
yeah,
bro. That's the
yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah.
Yo,
Which
the
is
world is
crazy.
so
Yeah.
crazy small, bro. That's dope, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. He was going to be on our last album, but we ended up doing something else. That's probably going to be on the next joint. But yeah, he was going to be on. I want to say our record Autobahn,
Okay.
and that's why it was so short because he was going to be on the second verse of that. But then we ended up just creating something else and doing that. But that's a homie.
That's what's up, man. I think, there's obviously the what you can have what if conversations all day, man. I had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with my boy Justin, who just did the autobiography, not autobiography, the biography of Biggie. We did a whole episode about what if he could have gotten on some of the Neptune songs. And I think him on some of the Nori joints, him on almost any of the clips, push a darker production would have been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just dope that in this moment those guys have been making music for so long that you can just that there's conversations like this that you can have of like what if this guy was on this or this, like these tracks had gone to this person. And I think some people don't even realize that a lot of those Ariana Grande songs, right, that were
Oh man,
leftover Beyonce tracks that
Beyonce
you
records. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, come on, man. Like,
And you know what's crazy about that? I remember when that album dropped, and I saw like Ariana Grande fans basically saying that Pharrell wasn't worthy enough to work with her. And I think Pharrell was part of the reason why she got her first Grammy, if I'm not mistaken. So like
yeah,
it's
man.
really dope, man. Like it's well, not dope, but it just sucks to see like people, kind of, shit on the name of the Neptunes and stuff like that because of quote unquote they're older. They're not
Right.
the young guys or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
man.
Yeah,
So
man. I mean, Ariana Grande. There's no reason I'm listening to her except for the fact that it has
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. If
they've got
Pharrell and them
Neptunes.
ain't, yeah,
Yeah.
if they ain't touching it, I'm not listening to it. No disrespect because she's a great
Yeah.
singer, but like yeah, I want to hear the Blaze. I want to hear those type of records. I want to hear those
Yes.
type of records, and obviously it worked. So yeah, yeah, dope.
But what do you think about some of the tracks that like because like we said, they've been on a little bit of a run over the past year,
Yeah.
like towards the end of the pandemic when they started posting on the gram of having all these people come through. So it's good to see, over the past year, a lot of those collaborations come to life. So what do
Yeah,
you think? What are your favorites? What do you think some of the highlights are?
some of the good stuff that I like that they've been working on. A lot of the stuff they did with ASAP Bari. No, ASAP Ferg. ASAP
Yeah.
Ferg was yeah, yeah, yeah. ASAP Ferg, all that stuff was incredible. The G Easy stuff was been incredible. I guess, it's kind of hard, being a, I guess I would consider myself a diehard Neptune fan. Like I had to sit with the reality of what's the quote that Fat Joe, yesterday's Neptunes is not today's Neptunes.
That's real.
And that's cool. Like that's
Right.
fine. Pharrell, like just studying the stuff that he does now, like which is crazy because his stuff was really basic before, like being a producer and like breaking down like the most iconic Neptune tracks. For example, like Love You Better. That
Mm-hmm.
song probably only has like maybe about 6 or 7 sounds in it. And they
Mm-hmm.
made it sound so incredible. And now, I like to call this era of Pharrell the 808p. So 808p is like, he's trying, things in the way that he does his 808s. I don't hear anyone doing them like that. So I give him a lot of credit. Of course, Hit Different to me was really big
Yep.
when they did that. I'm like, man, the Neptunes working with SZA and Ty Dolla Sign. Never would have thought that, like, because a lot of times when we see producers like link up with people, like especially like the older ones, they tend to just link up with the older people. And the
Right.
Neptunes are one of the few that just let's work. Whoever it is, let's work. What's the French homie? Damn, I can't think of his name, but he's a producer. Larnish. I can't remember his name, but like he is so incredible. Like literally, like he's probably the closest thing to the Neptunes. Like I'm very good at emulating them, but like he is like if you close your eyes, you would think he was Pharrell and Chad. And to see
That's real.
him like link with Pharrell like on IG probably like in January is incredible. So hopefully with the future like collaborations that they're doing, hopefully the other people can rub off on P. Not to take anything away from them. I just have to accept the fact that yesterday's Neptunes are not today's Neptunes. And
Yeah, man.
and that's cool. I think they just did so much great stuff from the, spanning back to, Use Your Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Chad playing the saxophone on the Jay-Z record with Blackstreet, Looking at Me, Mace.
Yeah.
Like through all that stuff,
Hits.
like
Hits,
hits.
man.
Not even to count the stuff like they were literally running radio from 2000 to maybe 2004. I
Right.
remember being in Chicago. I want to say maybe about 2003, WGCI, like the radio station in Chicago, they had a top 10 every night. They'll play like the top 10 records. I want to say Neptunes had about 8 of them at the time.
Crazy.
So like they were running radio, and it's like, man, I wish that they would have a run like that again. But music is different. Everything radio is obsolete now. Everything's all
Exactly.
streaming and
Yeah,
stuff
that's the
like that.
biggest thing is like the way that we consume it and we get the music is so different now
Yeah.
that it's hard to measure it in those simpler terms as it used to be, right? Like
Yeah.
if you had all these songs on the radio, that was a big deal. But like, you could have a bunch of streams, but no one plays this song on the radio at all because who even
Right.
listens to
Yeah.
the radio?
Yeah.
But I,
Exactly.
but it's dope. Like it's just like we keep talking about, and I don't want anyone listening to this to think that we are old guys. Like we are,
No,
we
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 just
just
been there
been
from the
around,
beginning. Yeah, we've been there
right?
from the beginning, so we
Right,
kind of know, like, man, like it's been some new stuff they've put out where I'm just like, oh man, I don't know, it's kind of rough, And
right.
then there's been some stuff that they put out, and I'm like, man, I could, okay, yep, okay, I see what P is trying to do. Okay, I
Yeah,
get it,
man.
But yeah, man, it's tough now. It's really tough, but that don't take away anything that they've done and who they are. They are still the teachers, and
Yep.
to me, the best production group ever, as far, and I know people, put other people up there, Quincy Jones, Dre, Ye,
Yeah.
that's cool, but for me it's Pharrell and Chad. Like there's no better. Like they were the only ones that were really doing bridges like that. They were really jumping out of the box with doing stuff. I remember like when P kind of went solo and he was kind of using the bongos a lot doing
Mm-hmm.
the lavish era, like completely changed the sound of stuff back then, and always innovative with the stuff that they do. So I guess I'm just gonna have to sit back and watch and see where they go from here. But for me right now, new Neptune stuff, they're about 50-50.
Yeah, man. And I think, like, to your point about them being the best, like, I guess it was last summer when Billboard put out that 100 best producers of the century, I guess, of the 21st
Mm-hmm.
century. Like, they were two behind the dude, what's his name? Max Martin,
Okay.
who made a bunch of Backstreet Boys, Britney, NSYNC, Taylor Swift stuff. So, like, Neptune's number two. Like,
Yeah,
that's like,
but I don't honor that number one just because the Neptunes have produced for pretty much the same people that guy has produced for, and they all
exactly.
got hits.
Exactly.
Blackstreet Boy. I'm about to call them Blackstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys, NSYNC,
Well,
all
yo,
those guys.
Backstreet Boys, the Call remix
Oh
with
yeah,
Pusha and Malice on it.
yeah, yeah. I
That's
was
one of
something
my
about that. Yeah,
favorites, bro. That like whenever I play that for people, they're like, "This is the back." Like, yes, it's the Backstreet Boys, bro. Like you heard this exact song on TRL, but it's a different beat,
yeah. The
and you
different.
add
Yeah,
Pusha and Malice to it.
Yeah,
That's basically a
man.
clip song to me. I don't
Oh yeah,
even.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Like I was talking about it with one of my homies on the on Twitter, and they never heard it. I'm like, man, you ain't never heard Imagine the Backstreet Boys here with the Neptunes, call it the Rec Room. Now it's time
Come
to
on,
yeah, like
man.
yo, like that was
Come
so
on, man.
incredible when it first came out. And like I said, and it's so crazy because I remember first hearing that in the Star Trek forum, which is crazy to even think about because sometimes they used to link like their own stuff in the forum.
Sheesh.
Like I heard a lot of old Roscoe P in there
Mm-hmm.
first. Like he would come up in there and post stuff. Pusha used to come up in there and post like a lot of like re-up, like when they were doing stuff with like DJ Benzi and all that type of stuff. Like it's so incredible, all the stuff. But yeah, I remember they came in there and I think they posted that remix before it dropped in the forum. And this was during the AOL Instant Messenger days. Like, yeah, like I remember, I think it took me like a day to download that record because it was dial up back then. But yeah, man, like it just little songs like that, man. That's why I don't, shout out to Dude being number one, but the Neptunes, they've worked with everyone and pretty much given anyone that you can think of a hit. Except Nick Cannon. I thought that song, just another case, was, I don't know if you ever heard it, but that's like,
I don't remember that.
okay, so I have like a playlist. I gotta continue it, but like worst Neptune beats ever. And it's definitely on there. And I know we all got like, no disrespect to them, but there I know sometimes where they just like, yo, here, like just
Right.
have it. But Nick Cannon's just another case. If you can listen to it on YouTube, I'm pretty sure it's out.
I
Pharrell's on
gotta
the
go
hook.
look that up.
One of the worst fucking Neptune beats that I've ever heard. Ice Cube in the late night hour is one of the worst ones. Yeah, it's yeah. But but yeah, yeah, check it out, man. It's yeah.
Yo,
Bad.
and it's so like it's funny you say that. Like I actually when I first discovered that in the late night hour joint,
Mm-hmm.
it's like we are such fans. It's like it depends on the mood. If that comes on the shuffle, I might listen to it just because it's
Man,
them.
I
But it's
tried. I tried. It sounds like clown music. Once it gets to like the second part of the like the verse, like when it was like they just said, you know what, Cube, here you go, do whatever. Like there's a couple records where they did that. And then, like I said, me being a producer, I've done the same thing, unintentional. Like I know I'm not shooting 100%
it happens.
yeah, I'm not gonna shoot 100% all the time, but like, when you look at records like From the Church to the Palace, like, they could have gave Snoop something completely, but I mean, they've given him, Beautiful, Let's Get Blown,
So much.
they've given him so much, Dropping Like It's Hot, all the like Perfect, like those type of records. And then there's always From the Church to the Palace, which, yeah.
So speaking of Snoop, this is the last thing I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
If you have to choose who is the best, not your favorite, just straight up the best,
Mm-hmm.
Neptune's collaborator, is it Snoop, Jay-Z, or other?
Man, all are solid choices, man. I might have to give it to, I want to give it to Jay. Um,
It's a hard ass
but
question, man.
but this is gonna sound crazy. I think it's Khalees. Just only because of Wonderland is, man. I'm so happy that's on streaming now. But I think that was like when the Neptunes, like they really found what they were really doing. It was doing that album.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Jay. Jay. Nothing beats Allure. Nothing beats Allure. So I'm gonna have to go with Jay. Give it to me. Excuse me, Miss. Even Change Clothes. I know a lot of people don't like Change Clothes.
Right.
I know.
I know it's amazing.
Some people give Hot Toddy a lot of a lot of grief, but and I hate. Matter of fact, I want to say that Neptunes and Jay-Z are probably shooting 98% from the field. The
No,
only
people,
one.
you thinking about not hot toddy, you thinking about anything.
Okay, yes. Anything you want,
Yes.
girl. Yeah, that one. Yeah. They could have kept that. Bounce. They could have kept that
that's
one, but
that's the only miss, man. Like that's
that
the only
and the
miss.
last one that they just did, I get what they were trying to do, but Pharrell yelling "Black man,"
Yeah, that was like because that to
I
me
get
that
it.
one doesn't count. It's because it's like that song was almost like it was a response
It's like a
to the
statement.
moment, right?
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like
yeah,
he was
yeah.
launching the Black Ambition, all of these things he's like all these things that he was doing, and like that was basically a music video commercial for all of that, which
Yes,
I
yes,
appreciate.
true. I
And
appreciate
here's
it
the other
too.
thing about it too, like Ho's verse on there was like still
Yeah, it was still good,
pretty Hove like.
but
Like
it's kind of like, when you see new Jay-Z
yeah,
featuring Pharrell
you
at
want to get blown
midnight,
away.
you're gonna be like, okay, they're back, and then you hear that and it's like, I
Yeah,
get it. All right, oh well, So
yeah,
that's my thing now. Like when I hear like Neptune stuff, like I don't go into it with high expectations because
yeah.
we've been spoiled so much over the years from I don't
For
know,
30 plus years,
yeah,
bro.
30 plus years from 93 to now. So it's like, yeah, I like if I hear some stuff and it's great, like I think Pharrell did an excellent job on Calvin Harris Snoop song. I appreciate vocal training P. That's why I like to call him
Yeah,
vocal training P.
that's real.
And it sucks because like just I'm so selfish because I would love if they would just go back into the studio and just redo those NERD records now that he can actually like sing. And
Right.
he kind of abandoned the Curtis Mayfield inspiration that he was doing kind of like earlier in his career, and he actually can like go. But yeah, that's just me being just being selfish.
Yeah, man. Like back to the Jay-Z conversation. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've said it before on this show. I think that the Carter's album is criminally slept on.
Oh man,
And nice, like
man,
ape shit is what it is.
yeah,
It's
it is
that's
what
the
it
lead
is. Yeah.
single. It's hype. It's got Migos. Like that's dope. But nice,
But when
like
you listen to those records though, you don't expect for P to do something like that, especially a record like eight shit. Like when you hear that beat,
yeah,
you're like, yo, that's not Neptunes. But
bro.
yeah, like that's the you know what that's I want to say that's the beauty of the Neptunes, like especially now in the later years, like you'll hear something and won't even know that it's them, as opposed to when they were at the highlight, they
Right.
were wearing out that Triton keyboard, which
The
to the
clavichord sound. Yeah,
yeah,
like
to the point that it wasn't even like Triton sounds anymore. They were just the Neptune sounds.
right.
So yeah, man, like that album, the Carters, the production that Pharrell did on that was outstanding.
Yeah, man.
So
Hove's verse on nice. Like
yeah.
whenever it comes on, I have to rap it word for word or I gotta run it back.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he's talking that talk. Yeah.
yeah, man. It's crazy, bro. So you choosing Jay-Z. I like I think the conversation is, especially if you're talking about Snoop. And I think when you say Khalees, the other category can be so many other people that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
actually make you think and be like, oh shit, like yeah, what they did with Khalees was like it was a period where they were trying to start and they did a bunch of stuff for her. But
Mm-hmm.
holistically, like, yeah. Or like you can go to Nori
Oh
and have an
man,
argument
Nori.
for Nori. You can have an
Yeah.
argument for like somebody who my godbrother who I mentioned, DJ Arnett brought up in our
Mhm.
conversation was Mystical.
Oh man, yeah, man.
Like,
Danger and
yeah,
like it's so funny. Like I was talking to a homie maybe about a couple years ago, and just talking about Shake Your Ass and how
mm-hmm.
how crazy like it sounds. Like just listen to the instrumental, you'll think like I wish I could be in the studio with the Neptunes when they play these beats for people. Because if you just listen to Shake Your Ass just by itself, you're probably like, okay, skip next. What else you got?
Right.
But Mystical did. First of all, Mystical was a wild man on that song. That the wildest opening line you can probably think of. And yeah,
Craziness.
like I would hope anyone listening to this that you don't show up with a party like that. But yeah, but yeah, like been so long. And the way like I was watching this interview with Mystical where he said like with the like Neptune stuff, the hook was already on Danger. She
Mm.
was already on it, and they just sent it to him like, "Yo, like, what do you want?" And all right, I'll just rap over it. But yeah, it's so crazy, man. Like they've done a lot with Mystical. Still got to put Usher out there too. Even the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that did, you don't have to call it generational.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the end of that. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
discussion of that, like they made you don't have to call. So Britney Spears, they really haven't had even Gwen Stefani.
Yep.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't want to admit it, but P definitely put his ankles in Slim Thug's already platinum. I
Yeah,
prefer
man.
the advanced copy over the retail, but
For sure.
yeah, like it's man, yeah, P has done and Chad have done a lot, and yeah, that other can be anybody.
Could be a bunch of people, man. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't leave out the guy Justin Timberlake too,
Oh yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Justified is 100% a classic.
classic.
It makes me, but it's also a classic that makes me wonder, man, what if Mike really did Let's Take a Ride or Last Night
Last
or any.
night, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, like it, yeah, like it's like damn. But I also appreciate, like, I remember just watching those the clips when it came out. It was like a 5-hour DVD of the making of Justified. I think some of it's still on YouTube. I know I got it in
yeah,
my Dropbox
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
with dude, we're going to Rio. Just I was just studying like how like Pharrell and Chad were like trying to pretty much putting the songs together for him and stuff like that. And then it makes me think like, damn, what if MJ was in those sessions and like how crazy that would have been. And that would have definitely put like the Neptunes were already on the map, but doing an album with Michael Jackson would have been, yeah, you
Wow,
wouldn't have been able to tell them nothing. Yeah.
wow.
But it still worked out for them at the end. They've literally worked with everyone from A to Z. So
Timeless music, bro.
yeah,
Timeless,
always.
timeless, man. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a great conversation,
Oh
bro.
yeah, for sure. I love talking Neptunes at any time I can. Yeah, man.
So I'm gonna save this. I might have to have you back on.
Oh man, for
We
sure.
might
Yeah.
need to talk. We might have to have a specific Chicago-based conversation because we
Oh
talked about
man.
that common album is slept on. We
Right,
might have to.
right.
We might have to come back and hop on that. But
Hey,
before you
just let me
go,
know.
yeah, tell everybody what you got going on. What's coming up next for Tokyo Sound?
Tokyo Ave, we're working on a couple new remixes. I got like maybe about 3 or 4 in the chamber that I haven't put out yet. I kind of want to let these last two breathe, the Doja Cat Streets one and then the K Tronada free fall joint that we put out. Kind of want to let them breathe a little bit, and then I got like 3 more of those. Working with up and coming R&B artist out of LA named Prince Carter, who's been doing amazing stuff. A lot of like I'm going to name people. These are like guys that are like coming up, like Zaylin and Spike Chester, like all these new guys that are on the rise. That and I want to give them a shout out because they were the ones that like I get so many people that hit me in yo, can you make us something like this or make something like that? A lot of times it's always Neptunes related. Everybody want like Neptune type stuff, and
Yeah,
these were like some of the few that was like, yo, just do y'all like the Tokyo Ave sound is what I want.
right.
So been working on that, starting to work on a new Tokyo Ave album. I don't know, when we're gonna put it out, but we just started working on it. Got a few things coming up with like some video game stuff that we might be doing music for, like a fighter. And that really like that's about it, really. Like just really just trying to stay busy and we do I don't know, man, a week, probably about, it's not like how it used to be, but yeah, we make like a couple beats a week. So I'm constantly, building up, the catalog of stuff to send out. But yeah, like that's what we got going on right now. Just right now, I'm like the remixes, like I said, that Doja Cat one just kind of opened up a whole different door of what we were doing. Like, people on SoundCloud and when they do let us upload stuff, because I've been like, I got like a couple copyright strikes and it's so
Gotcha.
and it's so crazy because like for a year we stopped doing like remixes. And I know I'm kind of rambling. Like last year we were going to do we was going to just do like a Neptunes remix. Like we did
Mm,
like I Love You, we did Ambulance from Family, we did Change Clothes, Jay-Z, and then we started working on more, and then we started getting copyright strikes, so we couldn't put them up anywhere. So I was like, you know what? I'm so over remixes. I don't want to do it anymore because number one, I don't want to lose my account or anything like that.
right,
So like,
right.
but yeah, I heard that. No, what did we do? We did 702 Stilo. We
Okay.
did that one, and that kind of like people started, open their ears, like, oh, okay. Then we did her and Sweetie Closer, and more people like, oh, okay. And then Doja Cat, yeah, that was like, all right, like, all right, cool. So yeah, so that's what we've been working on, and pretty much that's it, man.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate you, bro. This was
Oh
a great
man, no,
conversation, man.
no, anytime, man. Like I said, I love talking anything Neptune's related. I'm gonna have to go into the collection because I literally, I think I have everything they've done up until probably about 2 months ago.
Okay.
So I gotta go through it. And shout out to the homie Corey Towns and Niles for putting that collection together for the fans. Like, it had pretty much everything up until I think like 2015 at the time.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the homie Mika, who I think is for real low key. He be having all like the leaked stuff and always be hooking me up. And shout out to the people in the grinding forum on Discord that, those are like the real Neptune fans. Like those guys up in there, I've known like 20 plus years, and And the same type of knowledge that I have, those guys have too. They really love the Neptunes up in there, and that's crazy. So shout out to them as well.
That's real, man. It's really like, that's a huge part of the show too, is bringing people together, man. Like, and just having conversations like this about where you were when you heard stuff, how the music makes you feel, and how it takes you back to a certain time in your life, man. And just like the way that we specifically as Neptunes and Pharrell and Chad, fans of Pharrell and Chad, like just have this commonality no matter where you're from, man. Like it's a really dope testament to who they are and what they've done in music. And that's why I love having conversations like this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 100%, man. I love conversations like this because you can't really have that many, especially now, because like I said, the younger generation don't really know about this type of stuff. And like when I'm in the studio with a lot of people, like especially the younger guys, they have no clue. And I kind of want to just like pull my beard off. But it's like, what? I don't expect them to know this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it's always dope to link up with someone and just talk like just Neptune stuff that with someone that's actually kind of, followed their career and know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Once again, you can find me on IG, Patrick.Pryor, on Twitter, _Patrick Pryor, Tokyo Ave. Shout out to Khan, one half of Tokyo Ave. Yeah, like that's where you can find us at, pretty much. Twitter, I'm active on there. I don't really talk too crazy on there. I might crack a joke once or twice or whatever. I'm not as wild as I used to be, but yeah, I definitely would like to talk with more people. So anyone that's listening to this podcast and you want to talk Neptune stuff, hit me up. I'm down to talk that with you. It's all good.
Yeah, man. That's another episode of Neptune Sunday. Catch us next time. Everyone, appreciate for y'all for listening. Peace and love.